Yeah, is it a
can be
Ponzi?
real.
Is it a Ponzi?
Yeah, well, I guess.
It depends on your perspective.
We all love the Ponzi, right?
Yeah.
Daniel, the main dev of the project Wonderland TIME, even said that it is indeed a Ponzi scheme. So in this video, I want to go over everything else that he said that I found interesting. Also, I'm going to go over why TIME Wonderland is a Ponzi scheme. I'm also going to go over why it's not really a Ponzi scheme. And then I'm going to talk about where the APY comes from, the future of the project, and why it's still a good investment, even if it is quote unquote technically a Ponzi scheme. So right there, that's Daniel. That is the main dev, the creator, the quote unquote boss of Wonderland TIME. He literally just says, answers the question, is TIME a Ponzi? And he literally says, I guess. So what really makes TIME Wonderland a Ponzi scheme? Well, the number one thing I'm sure people think of when they're trying to make their argument that it is a Ponzi scheme is that the APY is impossible. It's ridiculous. It can't maintain that APY, the amount of rewards that it is paying out to the stakers long term. Okay, that's a good argument. Number two is that the money from the people minting TIME is what that same money is what ends up being the rewards that gets paid to the stakers. So that is kind of like a Ponzi scheme, because the first people into a Ponzi scheme get paid out from the newer people who join that Ponzi scheme. So right here we can see the actual definition of a Ponzi scheme. The definition is a form of fraud in which the belief in the success of a non-existent enterprise is fostered by the payment of quick returns to the first investors from money invested by later investors. So you can see how kind of like the people who mint TIME, that money is being used to pay out the stakers. So in that sense, it is kind of like a Ponzi scheme. Now the problems that I see with the project and the longevity, and another factor that makes it like a Ponzi scheme, is that if people stop bonding, the APY will drop. Now, I'm sure it's set up in a way to where if people stop bonding, you know, the runway will still be accurate and we'll still have like the 400 days or whatever it is before the treasury runs out of money to actually pay out the stakers. So yeah, if people stop bonding, the APY will drop, and we have actually seen it drop a little bit. I think it is at around, yeah, it is around 75,000 APY. I think the high was around 92,000% APY. So that does mean that more people are staking, more people are needing the rewards, and there's less people bonding, less people adding to the treasury to pay out those rewards. So we are seeing a dip in the APY. Now, the other problem I see, which is true of any cryptocurrency, is that if people stop buying and more people are selling, the price will go down, right? So right now we actually have seen a dip in the price as well. It's around 7,000 right now. The highest I've seen is around 10,000. So that's a 3,000 reduction in price. So actually it's a really good time to get into the project right now if you do want to get into it. But yes, the APY has dropped to 75,000 and the price is going down because more people are selling than buying. That also has to do with the whole market not doing well today. You know, it's like it goes on a day-to-day basis. Now, I don't really think that TIME is a Ponzi scheme because the APY is all accounted for. There's no fraud going on, right? So, you know, a Ponzi scheme is a form of fraud. There's not really any fraud going on. Daniel is telling you how everything is working. The APY does get paid out and he explains why, and I'll show the clip in a second. And the people who make the most rewards in TIME are the people who invest the most, right? So that makes sense. You know, you're gonna be rewarded more for investing more into a project that's early on. You know, that's true of almost anything, you know, so it's not a Ponzi scheme in that sense. And in this clip, which I'll also show, Daniel also says that he likes the ohm structure. It is structured kind of like a Ponzi scheme. And he says that's a really good way to get the project in front of people, reward the early investors really well, and it's a good way to have a mega ICO. So just getting the project in front of people, getting people invested in the project. He said it's a good way of launching a project in the DeFi space. And he also goes into where he's taking the project. You know, I've talked about this a little bit in my last video, but he's gonna go into the gaming space. So I'm gonna show all this because it's really good for everyone to see this.
So the idea here and why the APY has sustained so high in comparison to Olympus is all based on the mechanics. It's very simple. We don't really decide how the API is gonna be. The way that when you bond, which is a term I don't really like that much, but it's what it is. When you bond AVEX, for example, into Wonderland for purchasing time, basically you are making an OTC deal from the time treasury to buy time at a discount. And that's why you want to bond, because when there is like a tremendous price action or things like this, it also opens up a certain gap in which you can actually bond and have a discount on purchasing time. This is released with an OTC with a vesting period, basically. I call it the OTC with a vesting period. This vesting period is 5 days. So during these 5 days, you get your time back that you purchased. But as you purchase this time from the treasury has a profit, big profit, because it's selling you something that didn't exist before. So this profit goes to the memo stakers. So when you stake time into memories, then you are allowed to capture these profits in terms of APY. And the runway, what is a lot of people look at, the runway is nothing more than all the profit that has been generated that is getting distributed in form of time to the memo stakers. It's very simple. I think it's nothing too complex. That's why, in a way, works.
So right there, he's saying the APY is all accounted for, right? It's when you bond or mint the new time. That's where the profit's coming from. That's where the profits for where the stakers get paid out from. So essentially, when you mint, you're getting the coin at a discount, right? So that's incentivizing people to mint, and then that's where the profit comes from. Because when you mint, you're making time, and it's coming from essentially nowhere, right? Which creates a lot of profit for the treasury, and then that profit is what is getting paid out to the people staking. So that's why I said if people stop minting, there's gonna be less money to get paid out. There's gonna be more people who need to get paid out if there's more stakers, which makes the APY drop, which is what's causing the APY to drop right now. Now, the APY was never gonna hold at this rate. I never thought it was gonna hold at this rate. I do think that the APY is going to drop. I do think that the price is also gonna drop because time is only backed up to 2,000 per coin, and it's still up at like 7,000. So if you're buying it right now, you're buying it at a $5,000 premium.
So what is the future of Wonderland? Everybody know, I don't like to copy things. Like, that's not my thing. I like to make things that are new and unique. So my idea was that the concept of Olympus is a great way to distribute a token, like a mega ICO, I would say. I look at it in this way. So you actually distribute the tokens to the people that are actually the strongest hands. So the ones that believe the most in the vision, in the projects, etc., over a very long extended period of time. At the same time, while you are distributing, you are actually doing a real ICO in some way, because you are selling these bonds constantly, and the treasury of the DAO is becoming larger and larger.
All right, so right here he's saying he is not really copying Ohm, and he'll get into that a little bit more later on. But what he is doing is he's using the structure of Ohm and the Ponzi-nomics, just the buy-in, you get rewarded, to incentivize people to invest in the project and get the coin. And now he's gonna do something else with that coin so that the coin actually has utility somewhere else. Because with like Ohm, it doesn't have much utility besides being, Ohm is just trying to be like a new up-to-date stable coin that fluctuates with market conditions, but also has a floor price, where he wants time to be a token for something specific, and he gets into that right here.
What is very interesting is how can we combine this way of distributing this wealth over time with utility of the base layer of the token, so the utility of time. And my opinion is that time and Wonderland should become the base currency of multiple games. The first will be an RPG that we are developing, but we should open it up for more projects to enable this new ecosystem to thrive on top of Avalanche, because it's a great chain for gaming, in my opinion. Like NFTs, all this require very cheap transaction, very fast transactions. And I want to develop this layer on top that will allow any game developer to build on top of a currency system that will be time, and a great layer one, that will be Avalanche. So,
Very exciting.
So he actually says right there that he's building an RPG game for you to use time as the base currency. So that's his big project. I did talk about this a little bit in my last video, but I think this is huge. It differentiates time from Ohm. He's a smart dude because he's using the Ponzi-nomics to get people rewarded, the people with the strongest hands and who believe in the project the most. He's rewarding them. It's also distributing those coins out to the public. So he's doing a massive ICO for the project, which is time, and he wants time to be the currency in games. Now, games are going to be huge, so I think he's going in the right direction here. This is why I'm so bullish on time, why I think it's such a good project. Not only is he building an RPG, he's building other games as well, and he gets into this as well, but he's going to build time so that other developers can integrate that into their games. If they're not as good with the ICO, with the Ponzi-nomics, with launching a coin or a currency, getting people to buy the currency for the game, but they want to develop the game, they can just hook time up to their game and use time as the currency in their game.
And I started talking with Super Farm. I really like the guys. Elliot is a great guy, and they have been having a little bit of a harder time on the token economics kind of things. You know, they don't understand.
3-3.
Like, they're very strong in the NFTs gaming, but they're not as strong into the DeFi or involvement into the economical things, right? So I think that partnership can be very solid over the longer term, and really have a partner, the first partners of many, to start building beautiful things on top of Avalanche and Wonderland.
That's what he's saying right there. He's talked to other people and he saw that this is an issue that they have, that they need, so he's solving a problem here. He's saying that they don't understand the token economics as well, or they don't have as good of an understanding, and plus they'd probably rather spend their time developing the game. So he's making it so that they can just use time. He's making it available to anyone. He'll probably make it public to developers so that they can actually hook it up to any game they want if they want to go that route. So time is going to have a ton of utility across the board, not only on his game or games that he's building, but on any game that anyone builds. They can just hook it up to time. As you can tell, this guy has tons of money. He's a super smart guy. I mean, even though he has so much money, he's wearing literally a graphic tee and freaking and like a meme sunglasses. Like, I'm pointing out that he's probably rich, has a ton of money, and he's still just wearing graphic tees and meme sunglasses, is to show that he doesn't really care about the money. You know, it seems like he's doing this to actually just build cool projects, which I really like. I really like that it seems like he cares more about the project than the capitalistic standpoint and just making a ton of money off of this. This guy's smart. He knows what he's doing. This project is going in a great direction, even though time is kind of maybe technically a Ponzi scheme on some aspects. You know, it's not fraud. He's being upfront. He's letting you know exactly how it works. He's letting you know where the project's gonna go. There is a real project, which is time, which he wants to make this currency for not only his games, but for any game and gaming developers who don't understand the tokenomics as well, but want to build the game and use a cryptocurrency as the base currency. I'm extremely bullish on this project. It's down today, so it's literally discounted today. So yeah, now is a good time to buy if you are going to buy. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm just saying that I do think it's a good investment. I hope you learned something. Consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.